Students, continuation of chapter 16 Commerce, United Nations Guidelines for Consumer Protection. Now the General Assembly of the United Nations, they passed a resolution on April 9th, 1985. Now in that resolution, they had a set of guidelines for protecting the interest of the consumers. Okay, and they induced all the member countries to adopt those guidelines in order to protect the interest of the consumers in that particular country. So all the governments of the member countries, they adopted the all the guidelines framed by the UN in order to protect the interest of the consumers in their own countries. Okay, now we'll see the objectives of the United Nations guidelines for consumer protection. What was the main objectives? First one, to assist countries in achieving or maintaining adequate protection for their population as consumer. Assist means to help all the member countries to achieve or to protect the consumers of their country. Next one, to facilitate production and distribution pattern responsive to the needs and the desires of the consumer. To facilitate means to provide all the whatever is required to fulfill the needs of the consumers. Okay, so to provide production and distribution pattern responsive to the needs and desires of the consumers. To encourage high level of ethical conduct for those engaged in production and distribution of goods and service to consumers. Okay, to encourage means to make them more responsible. To encourage high level of ethical conduct means the business people, they should be aware of all the values. Okay, they should be encouraged of the values and they should not exploit the consumers. They should be more responsive. Next one, to assist countries in curbing abusive business practice by all enterprise at the national and international level which adversely affects the consumers. Okay, curbing means to stop. Okay, to assist, to help the countries in curbing abusive means wrong business practices. Okay, to help the countries in stopping all the wrong business practices by all the enterprise at the national and international level which affects the consumers. Okay, next, to facilitate the developing of independent consumer groups. To help in developing independent consumer groups, so to form various consumer groups so that any grievance of the consumers can be addressed to those groups. Next, to further international cooperation in the field of consumer protection. That means in the future, all over the world, it should be, the international cooperation should be that is, all the member countries should stay united in the field of consumer protection in order to protect the interest of the consumers in the future. Going forward in the future, all the countries should stay united to protect the interest of the consumers. Next, to encourage the development of market conditions which provide consumers with great choice at lower price. So great choice means there should be a variety of products available to the consumers at the lower price. Okay, so such kind of activity should be encouraged. Next one is consumer legislation. Just give a reading of this topic. Only the act is given. Indian Contract Act is 1982. The Sale of Goods Act. Just go through all the acts given in your textbook. Okay. Then Consumer Protection Act 1986. In short, we say COPRA. The Consumer Protection Act, the central government brought this act, okay, enacted this act in the year 1986, and this act came into force in the year 1987. See here, the central government enacted the comprehensive law, means detailed law, called Consumer Protection Act in the year 1986. One more question, okay. This act came into force with effect from 15th April 1987. This act was further amended. Amended means the same law was, some changes was made in the act in 1993, and the act is referred in short as COPRA. The Consumer Protection Act 1986 seeks to protect and promote the interests of the consumers. So what was the main objective of the act? To protect and promote the interests of the consumer. The act provides safeguards to the consumers against defective goods, deficient service, unfair trade practices, and all other forms of exploitation. Okay, so the main objective of this act, COPRA, is to safeguard the consumers from all kind of unfair trade practices and other kinds of various ways by which they are exploited. Okay, this is a 2-mark question. COPRA, Consumer Protection Act. What is COPRA? 2-mark question. You can write from here. The central government enacted the comprehensive law from there till this. Okay. Then, what are the features of Indian Consumer Protection Act? First one, protecting the consumers against product and service which are harmful to the health of the consumers. Okay, just to protect against harmful products which affects the health of the consumers. Protecting consumers from breach of contract by sellers and manufacturers. Breach means against the law, okay, breaking of the contract. Say for example, if there is a contract between the seller and the buyer, but the seller does not keep up the promise, and the customer has been affected because of that, in such kind of activities will be protected under this Consumer Protection Act. Protecting consumers from the breach of contract by the seller or the manufacturer. Next one, protecting the consumers against the evil effect of competition. So, because of competition between two competitions of the same type of product being sold, the consumers may be cheated. Maybe duplicate products will be available in the market. So, such kind of evil practices, because of such activities, the consumers will be exploited. So, to protect the consumers against evil effects of competition. Then, protecting the consumers against the pollution of various kinds. Suppose if there is a factory located in some area where there are so many people staying around, residential areas there, it may affect the pollution, may affect the health of the people staying in and around that area. So, to protect the consumers against the pollution of various kinds. Next, protecting the consumers against unfair trade practices and unscrupulous traders. Okay, of unscrupulous traders. Now, there are 5 points here. So, starting with P, protecting consumers against the product and service which are harmful to the health of customers or the consumers. Protecting the consumers from the breach of contract of the seller and the manufacturer. Then, protecting the consumers against unfair trade practices. Protecting the consumers against pollution of various kinds. and protecting the consumers against the evil effect of competition. Okay, you can learn these 5 points alone. Next, ensuring consumers with supply of goods at fair quality. So ensuring means to make sure that the consumers get the goods at the correct quality, and there is regular supply with the price is also fair. Okay, safeguarding the customers against misleading and untrue messages communicated through advertisement to protect the consumers from false advertisement. Ensuring the consumers are charged at fair price. They should be, the goods should be supplied, or the service should be given to the consumers at the fair price. Ensuring uninterrupted supply of goods, and ensuring the availability of goods in correct quantity and right size. So there are totally 5 P's in this answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 points starts with P and 4 points starts with E, ensuring. Okay, and 1 point is safeguarding. You can learn any 5 points in features. Next, importance of consumer protection. Here, the objectives is very important. 5-mark question. Objectives of Consumer Protection Act is a 5-mark question. First one, protection of consumers against marketing of goods which are hazardous and dangerous to the lives and property of the consumers. Now, features and the objectives may be, most of the points will be similar. Okay. So, first one is to protect the consumers against marketing of the goods which are hazardous and dangerous to the lives and properties of the consumers. Providing correct and complete information about the quality, quantity, purity, price, and standard of goods purchased by the consumers. So, the seller, when they sell some goods in the market, all the details should be displayed on the goods itself about the quality, quantity, price. Every detail should be mentioned in the product itself. Next one, protecting the consumers from unfair trade practices. Next is empowering the consumers to seek redressal against exploitation. Empowering means giving authority or giving powers to the consumer themselves to seek redressal against exploitation. Means, suppose if the consumer has been cheated in some way, they have to be given some powers to go and address their issues to some authority. Means there are district forums, state forums, where they can, the consumers can address their grievances. Next, educating the consumers of their rights and duties. The consumer should be aware of their rights and duties. Ensuring better standard of living for consumers by providing them with quality product at fair price. So the quality product should be provided to the consumers at fair price, so that it leads to a better standard of living. Putting in place the right mechanism like councils and other authorities to enable the consumers to enforce their rights. A proper mechanism should be there where the various councils are there, district councils, national council, state councils, which you will learn in the next chapter. Okay, so that the consumer knows where to approach in case if they are being exploited. Now, in this question, it's very easy. Objectives, you have to learn minimum of 5 points. First, second, third, and the last point, four points starts with P, and 1, 2, 3. 3 points starts with E. Okay, so it's very easy to learn. Next, caveat emptor. This is a 2-mark question. caveat emptor means let the buyer beware. So it is a Latin term which means let the buyer beware, which means when the consumer buys some product or the buyer purchases some product, he should be aware, or he will be responsible in case of any unfair trade practice, or in case if some defective goods, the buyer should be responsible, not the seller. Okay, suppose, say for example, A is a seller. He is selling a car, a used car, to B. B is the buyer. Now it is the B's duty to take a mechanic with him before he purchases the car from A. Okay, and he should check everything and buy. Suppose if after he purchases something, maybe the engine is not working, then A is not responsible. It is the duty of B. The buyer should be responsible. The buyer should be aware. Let the buyer beware. Okay, the seller cannot be held liable in case of happening of any event after the purchase contract. Now, in other words, the principle of caveat emptor serves as a warning to the buyer that they have no recourse with the seller if the product does not meet their expectation. That is, if the product does not meet the expectation, the buyer cannot go back to the seller, or he cannot return the product to the seller. Okay, so caveat emptor is a Latin term which means let the buyer beware, and the principle of caveat emptor serves as a warning to the buyer that they have no recourse with the seller if the product does not meet their expectation. Till this you will write. Okay, then the term actually means that let the purchaser beware. Next, this does not, however, give the seller the green light to actively engage in fraudulent transaction. Caveat emptor, this concept was in practice earlier. Okay, but after this industrial revolution, this concept fully was demolished. Now we follow this method of caveat venditor. Caveat venditor means let the seller beware. Okay, it is just the opposite of caveat emptor. Let the seller beware. Caveat emptor was a rule for most purchase and the land sale prior to the industrial revolution. Although the seller assumes much more responsibility for the integrity of their goods in the present days. Today, most sales in the US falls under the principle of caveat venditor, which means let the seller beware, by which the goods are covered by an implied warranty of merchantability. So caveat emptor means the seller should take all the responsibility and not the buyer. That is, before the seller markets some product to the product in the market, it should fit the needs and the desires of the consumers. It should fulfill the needs and the desires of the consumer. That is what is meant here, merchantability. Okay, implied warranty of merchantability. Before a product is being distributed in the market, the seller should ensure that about the quality, the price, that is, it should fit the needs of the consumers. Okay, now this is also a 2-mark question. You will write from here. It means let the seller beware. Till here the first point, and the second point you can write seller assumes much more responsibility for the integrity of the goods in the present days as a second point. Okay, so go through the topics which has been covered here today from here. United Nations Guidelines for Consumer Protection. Learn any 5 points here. And what is COPRA is a 2-mark question. And the features of Consumer Protection Act, any 5 or 6 points you can learn. And importance, objectives of Consumer Protection Act, any 5 or 6 points you can learn. And what is caveat emptor is a 2-mark question. And what is caveat vendita is also a 2-mark question. Okay, so go through this lesson. With this we complete this lesson, chapter 16.